private conversation with a couple of attorneys. So yeah, I got invited down to the courthouse today to attend the hearing for Diddy today. Which it kind of, nothing spectacular happened, but he did give a mandate. They didn't even put in a application for bail, so bail wasn't even really a discussion today. But he seems to be in very good spirits, man, considering what he's up against, man. And I definitely, I'm gonna give my opinion in a minute. A couple more people get in here, and we're gonna talk about it. So this is what's left. Right here. Y'all know this dude. This guy said he shot at him.
Trust me, they did not give me any cease and desist from my book. You can't, because this is all true. Right? And I have witnesses.
I meant to ask you the other day, because me and you talked yesterday.
No,
how you do?
Any cease and desist.
I know that, but no. What I want to ask you, you ever thought about punching him in his face?
No.
Why not?
No, I saw him after.
Because look, if somebody we talked about this last night. As a man, you're a man. It doesn't matter how much money somebody else has, how big somebody is.
I'm not a violent
But
man.
my thing is, you don't have to be a violent man to stand up for yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Defend yourself is different than what you're talking about.
Well, by law, if somebody was to take a shot at you, you have the right to shoot back at that person.
At that moment.
Yeah,
Not 10 years later, not 5 years later, not even a year.
Did you ever press a lawsuit?
I am now.
No,
now
before.
I didn't have the money to do it.
I understand.
I
Fair
didn't have
enough.
the money, and no lawyer wanted to fight for me.
Fair enough. Yeah. So this guy from yesterday. What's up with you, boss?
What's up, brother? It's a night pup.
You
Tried to kill
AGTV?
me.
Yeah,
Did he try to kill you?
So you
did?
say. So you say.
You said that?
Unless you guys can.
Did he try to kill you?
Me and two
With two others?
I don't know about that, but
So if you take a picture.
yeah, this is what they got the U.S. Marshals out here.
You sent me a copy of the book?
Yes.
They try to kill you?
Man, let me see what these little news reporters. How you doing? You also Rolling Stone? Oh no.
Did he try to kill him?
Yeah. Hey, look, Rolling Stone paid him and shit. I think they paid him to say that. 'Cause he told me last night they gave him like a first class ticket in the hotel room. I'm like, so I'm just saying, I don't know if it happened or not.
They gave him a first class ticket in the hotel room to say that?
That's what he told me yesterday. I'm just saying that sometimes people come with these stories, you don't know what you're about. You don't know what's true and what's
Me and
not.
my niggas, we here to break Diddy out.
Right. Hey, hopefully he do get out, man. Entertainment tonight. Hey, free Diddy. That's all. We just want him to have a fair chance at the trial. Whatever happens at trial happens at trial. But give the man a fair opportunity. Yeah, give the man a fair trial. What's going on? I think I seen you on TV before. Excuse me, madam. Excuse, what's your name? I seen you. Rachel. All right, Rachel. Rachel stunning. All right. We're going on a little tour, going a little move. Look what he say. I don't know if what he's saying is accurate or not, but you know what I mean? I saw this guy last night at Madison Square Garden, and he told me Rolling Stones paid him. I mean, they gave him, yeah, he told you? See? Rolling Stone paid him, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like they gave him a hotel and all that, so I think Rolling Stones might have put him up to this.
What is that with this sign right here?
Yeah. Maybe whatever happened, he could be telling the truth. I don't know, but he did tell me last night that he got paid. Like they gave him something. Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know?
He said something like back in the '90s, Puff's group they was riding past him and took a shot at him or something like that. That's what he said. That's what he said. I don't know.
I was another victim. Okay.
I call it alleged because you
Yeah,
never
alleged
know.
victim. But
Yeah,
this it's his truth until it gets.
yeah, true.
A lot of people don't want to come up because of his stature. But yeah,
Man, but I look at it like this: as a man, ain't no man too big to get punched in the face. If somebody violate you, I mean,
that's what I said. Man, you
I
think the same way.
dog.
You ain't gonna tell me I'm gonna wake up and I'm sorry. You told me you did this to me, and that's supposed to look you in the face and say what?
I might have got look. I might get my ass whooped. You know what I mean? You might beat my ass, but I'm at least try
Right,
to.
right.
If you,
You
he's saying that he popped the pistol at him or something. I don't know,
okay?
but
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
listen
Do
to
your
this.
thing. Do your thing. All right. Yeah, you too. Inside edition. How y'all doing? Were you inside too? Oh, I think I did see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. What were you most surprised about? No, this is what I was thinking, but they might have another way of going about it. But I was actually surprised about his demeanor, his spirit. He seemed to be positive and not down. To most people would be crushed by it, right? To even spend a night in jail if you've never done that before. So I was surprised by that. But like you said, the issue of bail not coming up. But we'll see. All right, take care. All right, now have a good. You said Rachel, Cheyenne. No, no, no. You're not on. You're not on. Do your thing, Cheyenne. All right, have a good night. Yeah. So look. Yeah. So these people, these cameras, they're not here normally, unless it's something. Good afternoon, bro. I'm good. What's up, struggler? How you doing? I just got I just came out of the P Diddy hearing, struggler. So you know I am right downtown. And I appreciate the thumbs up too. This is just crazy. Yeah. Hey. So yeah, I seen Sean P. Diddy Combs a few minutes ago. I want to say maybe about 40 minutes ago in the courthouse. And you know, I have to say, under these circumstances, he actually looked pretty. I don't want to. Jovial is not the right word, but he said, "Now I'm going to go for a long walk." Yeah, you know it. You know it. So, and yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for a walk and talk a little bit, man. Whoever jumps in and jumps out. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the case just to have something interesting to talk about, something different, so you guys don't just see me walking in the street. So anyway, about the P. Diddy, it's another one of the reporters here. You would love to hang with you, but you ain't walking. You got to just, all right, I hear you. We'll do that one day. So what I was going to say is, so we went to the hearing today. He's been in there almost a month, I'll say. Maybe three weeks, a little bit over a month. And he's been trying to get bail for the last couple weeks since he's been in there, and he got denied twice. So they switched and gave a new judge. The judge that they have now is an Indian guy. And, people were thinking maybe there could be a different outcome. Oh, by the way, so this is that's the Thurgood Marshall courthouse, federal courthouse, and this is the Courthouse of Appeals. All right, so what I was saying is that he's got denied bail twice. So there was supposed to be another bail hearing today, but apparently his legal team did not submit a bail application for whatever reason. Not sure. And what I did notice is that he now has some female lawyers on his team, which I think is great. And they stood up for him in court today. He had some female attorneys who stood up, and they stood up proudly, and they said, "We're proud to represent Mr. Combs," which was very interesting to hear. You know what I mean? Like, these lawyers were not hiding their faces. They were not trying to duck, and they didn't look like they were only there just for the paycheck. They actually looked like they were there to win almost. You know what I mean? And although, he has the prosecutors in the case are women. There was about 4 or 5 women on the prosecutor's table and one guy who I think he worked for Department of Homeland Security. And they were saying that the feds, they have like data and footage and stuff like that on phone. I mean on memory cards, but it doesn't sound like they have anything super serious. It doesn't sound like they have all of their posturing and they're claiming to have, because the prosecutor was kind of fumbling over her words a little bit, and she was talking about how they recovered over 90 devices from his properties. Like, that's phones and tablets and computers. They found old phones and laptops. Let me go this way to get away from this this loud construction. So they were talking about how they found all of these laptops and tablets, but the technology that they have, they were unable to get into all of it. Apparently, if you have an old iPhone or old Samsung Galaxy or whatever, it's a little bit difficult for the FBI, Homeland Security, and CIA to hack into your phone and get your information, what they call an extraction. For some reason, the new technology that they have, it has a hard time accessing the old data from the old phones, which is what one of the prosecutors was saying in court today. So but they were able to get into some devices. What do they have? We don't know, but she says that they had over 90 terabytes of data. Train? Maybe here. Maybe. Maybe. You talk. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if she was speaking Chinese. I couldn't understand. All right, struggling. Yeah, so what I was saying about the prosecutors in the Diddy case is that it definitely seemed like they were running into some problems. They have a lot of time now to get their case together, because I think the next hearing is going to be in December. So if he doesn't get any bail, he's going to be locked up until then. And then trial will start around May 5th. But as I said, I mean, it's a possibility that he could get bail if a bail application is put forward, or he might just have to stay in there. But he looked, when I saw him, I thought he was gonna be all gray and you know what I mean, hair gray and not looking well, but he looked pretty decent, man. I don't know what he goes through in his cell, but at least in the courtroom, he showed a positive side. Maybe because his kids were there, his daughters and his sons, his mom. I got a chance to meet his mom and his sister, and his mom and his sister is very very lovely people, very polite and nice. I saw his daughters, they seem to crack a smile, and I'm like, man, with all of this stuff that they're going through, they're pretty positive. Excuse me, brother. And yeah, so the prosecution, I just want to say this. I don't know if the prosecutors that are on the case right now are going to be the prosecutors all the way through, but they seem to be some young women. And when I say young women, I'm going to say like under the age of 40. On the defense side, you see people who have experienced that 30, 40 years. So I think that as of right now, Puff's legal team seems to be very, very capable. We know he's up against a lot, but it seems to me, based off of what I saw today, it seemed like the government jumped the gun, and a lot of the stuff that they have on him is not exactly what they say it is. It doesn't seem like they're ready. Keep in mind, what's up, Lady G? How do they let support in? You just got to show up. You show up early enough. If the next hearing is at like 2 o'clock, just show up at like 1:30, 1 o'clock. Show up at like 1 o'clock, and then anybody can go in. But if you press, of course, they give you like, if you press and family, they give you priority, you know. And then yeah, so anybody can go. So what I wanted to say is that all of these allegations that you hear about on the news, oh, he did this, he sexually assaulted this person, he did that, none of that is being brought up in this case. You know, it's baffling to me that everything you hear in the media is completely different than what's going on in the courtroom. And part of that is because, first of all, they don't allow cameras in the courtroom. And then you have these writers who have their own agenda. They want to sell a salacious story. So they just make up all kind of things. And it's hard for the people to know the difference between fact and fiction, because most of us are only reading the headlines. So we didn't hear anything about, oh, we got this witness and that witness ready. It just looks like they're looking for anybody they can that has a bad story, and they're gonna put them up on the stand. But if you ask me, the government didn't seem prepared. Maybe and the defense isn't prepared either, because he doesn't know what kind of evidence they have against him. So the lawyers are asking, the defense attorneys are asking for the prosecution to turn over whatever evidence they may have, so that way they can review it and see what they have to fight against. So I was just saying, some serious charges, but to be honest, I don't think that the government has a solid case, man. Do they have enough to convict? Absolutely. They do have enough to convict. I'm about to get off of this street right here. They absolutely do have enough to convict. They always, whenever the government comes for you, the feds come for you, they have enough to convict you. It doesn't mean that all of the evidence is put in its proper context, but it just means that they have enough for people to say, he might be guilty. But I mean, for somebody who's facing life in prison, I would have to say he didn't look like he was sweating. I would have thought that maybe he would have had his head down, looking like he was desperate and despair. But he looked pretty, I wouldn't say delusional, but he looked confident. He looked okay, you know, and he did look like he wanted to speak for himself, but he just let his lawyers work for him. And the one thing that I think that he has, something good that he has going for him, is that his attorney is not, he said Diddy is smart. When his next hearing, you come in to support his next hearing, as far as what the judge says, sometime in December. I forget the day he said, but it's December. I'll look it up. But it might be something that comes up before then, if his lawyers submit some documents to ask for another bail, right? Okay, so I will say that hold on, let me answer this question. You think they're going to question Meek Mill's word on the street? He is recordings from the freak-off parties. I mean, they might ask Meek something, but Meek has nothing to really do with that case, to be honest. A lot of that is internet rumors and speculation. When you talk about facts, we don't know if that happened. But another thing is that even if there's tapes with him and Meek, the thing is, it's not about who you're sleeping with or who you're doing. It's about, is it consensual? Because as long as it's consensual, there is no crime. You know, you hold on as this truck passed. Look, you can sleep with 1,000 people as long as it's consensual. Then there's really nothing, no crime. So all of this that they're coming after him, it's all connected to the whole domestic violence issue with Cassie. They want to make him pay and suffer for that. So they added a whole bunch of other things, and then they said that they may have a superseding indictment, which means they'll probably look for some other charges to throw on top of whatever they got on him right now. But I'm just saying that if there was a trial today, if that trial had started today, the government probably would have lost. I think any fair-minded person would have said, what you guys are talking about doesn't sound solid. So there was a few issues where I will have to say that his attorneys brought up some great points. They said with everything that's going on in the media, it's very hard for him to get a fair trial, right? And the lawyer exposed and said, hey, Your Honor, we're concerned about these leaks. The government, Homeland Security, and the FBI are leaking all of these things out to the public. Like they leaked out the videotape of the hallway, the domestic violence tape. They leaked that out to the public. What was their purpose for leaking that to the public? Because they want to damage him before trial. They want people to have a negative that one image of him in the trial. They don't tell you what happened before that video. You know, they don't say, oh, what might have happened before that. You know, so they just put that video out to basically break his support for anybody that that might have a gripe against him. But as of right now, that case looks a bit flimsy to me. If you want to say it's a domestic violence case, yeah, boom, guilty. There's no debate about that. But all of this RICO, running a criminal enterprise, this goes to show that mainstream America does not understand, let's say, I don't want to say underground culture, or I don't necessarily want to say hip hop culture, even though you could put it that there's what would you call, something beneath the surface. They don't understand the hidden culture of maybe we can say Black America, where you can start a record company with nothing and you can dance and you can sing and make millions and millions and millions of dollars off of that. They feel like if you didn't go to college, if you didn't graduate and you don't have a PhD or a master's, then if you become a millionaire and you're not an athlete or something like that, you must be a criminal. And that's how they're treating him with the RICO case. But anybody that has watched Diddy over the years, you know that Diddy's been like a fashion mogul, not just music mogul, but he's been a fashion mogul, fashion icon. He got into the liquor business, which I was not a fan of, but he definitely made his money legitimately. But what the government is trying to say, they're trying to say that him making all of that money, he got up to the point where he's $500-600 million in assets. They're saying that he used his lifestyle to attract young, impressionable women. And being that these people were attracted, they're trying to say that he gained a lot of his empire by fraud. Which, I mean, come on now. People are attracted to money. You know? People are attracted to money. You think you got friends now? Hey, hit the lottery for 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. Watch how many friends you're going to have then. So a lot of that is going on. You know, say you pray for his kids. Yup, like somebody said like O.J. Simpson. Yeah, I will say there's some similarities here. I think when you look at I don't want to go all the way and say the racial issue. It's there, but it's not the same level like a OJ. The difference, In the OJ case, man, two people actually died. In this case, nobody died. You know what I mean? They're not charging him for anything like that. So, you know, uh, I would draw some differences there. You live in New York, Lady G. You going next time? I'm gonna be there. All right. Hope to see you there, Lady G. Why are you New Yorkers so rude? That is absolute truth, man. It's just the normal thing to do. Like that's just what it is. It's just what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, no problem for the update. I'll continue to give more. You said, Nicholas, not rude. You're from North Carolina, but you reside here in New York. New Yorkers are not all rude. You're in Pennsylvania and get treated like a criminal going to register a car. People are afraid of change and people are rude to everyone. Money is the root of all evil. Yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of it. Actually, the only city felt people were rooted in New Yorkers was Philly. I could agree with that, Philly. You know, I could agree with that. Philly, people from Philly, at least the people that I've come across, they're they love confrontation. It could be about something real simple and not confrontational, but they'll bring some confrontation into it. Yeah. So I've been in court all day, you know, out here in the city. But yeah, so back to the case. The attorneys also. So Diddy's attorneys. You know, this is New York. Everybody blowing horns. All right. So Diddy's attorneys brought up the fact that the government has been leaking information to kind of like taint the future jury pool to make him already seem guilty. They're just putting stuff out there because who else could be leaking this stuff? You know, you got these crazy stories about 1,000 bottles of baby oil, which hasn't even been confirmed. But who would put that story out? We found 1,000 things of baby oil. We found they said they released the tape and things like that. So the prosecution, the government got upset about that because they didn't like the fact that Diddy's lawyers went on national TV and mentioned that, like, look, this is unfair here, you know? We feel like there's some racial bias because you don't do this to anybody else, but you're doing this to this guy who's a successful a black American who he's now the target of a witch hunt. And now mind you, this was the white guy saying this. So Diddy got some white people on his team that are really they look like they're really they're putting up a fight for him. Of course, they're paid. We know this. But just because people are paid doesn't mean they'll always do a thorough job, you know? So anyway, the prosecutors, they responded by saying, the judge issued a gag order on both sides. Said, look, no more going out in the public releasing this and that. No more releasing sensitive information. So the government says, hey, Your Honor, it wasn't us. It was the Homeland Security that released it. It wasn't the prosecution. So the judge is like, look, you know, but Homeland Security, you're kind of both on the same team. So I don't want anything else released or this is going to be prejudicial to the client. So there were some good arguments back and forth, and you know, he's gearing up for a fight, but it's still got a long road ahead of him, man. But end of story, there was no bail. Said disagree with that. Yeah. So yeah, the family seemed to be in good spirits. I'm sure you probably after a few weeks you might get a little bit more adjusted when you don't see your loved one and you can't just pick up the phone and talk to them and this and that. And you know, we didn't, like I said, we didn't see any sad faces, you know. But yeah, how did he look when they denied his bail? I think that he didn't look disappointed. He didn't look happy either, of course. He just looked like he just accepted it. He was just like, look, I'm gonna deal. The whole demeanor was like, yo, I'm gonna accept whatever you guys are dishing at me. And I think he probably was a little bit thrown off that his lawyers didn't actually submit an application for bail, because the lawyer the judge mentioned it. The judge said, look, you know, I don't see, there's no application for bail. You guys didn't even send me an application for bail, so I can't even say one way or another if I'm gonna give it to him. I just gotta leave him detained until the next hearing in December. So I think he probably, of course he was hoping to get out today, but for some reason they just didn't, I don't know. I can't, I was scratching my head about that and I wanted to ask a question about it, but the legal team told me, you know, they're going to keep their cards close to their chest and they have reasons to do what they're doing. And yeah, so Diddy would get bail in December, possibly. But I mean, the longer you're in. Okay, so here was part of the argument, and everybody knows this. If you ever been in the legal system or in legal trouble, which I have before, you know, and plenty of people have, if you're on trial, you have to, if you're being detained during leading up to your trial, it's almost impossible to fairly defend yourself, because you have to go over evidence, you got to go over testimony, you got to look at go through the preliminary hearing, look at the discovery and see what's accurate, what's inaccurate. And sometimes you need to do that till 1 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you gotta call, you feel like you gotta call your attorney at 2 o'clock in the morning. But if you locked up, you can't do that. You can't just show up to your attorney's office and say, hey, look what I found. I got evidence of this, or I got evidence of somebody lying, or evidence of this. You know, it just, and it makes it harder when your opponent is the actual government, not the state, but the whole damn country, the U.S. So he's definitely at a disadvantage, but he's not going down without a fight. That's clear. You can definitely see that. That was so clear. You know, and I think, however slim that chance may be, the United States government, the feds have over a 95% conviction rate. Now, mind you, that 95, a large portion of that is because people choose not to go to trial. They just take a plea. They're like, oh man, the government is against me. They have this on me. They got that. It's just too much. I can't fight, or I don't have the money for an attorney. So a lot of people just plead out and plead guilty. And there's pros and cons to that. If you plead guilty, if you make a deal with the government and you say, look, I didn't do that, what you guys are saying, but I know I did this other thing, and you guys have enough to put me away for 20 years. So I'll just plead guilty to this one little thing, and maybe you guys give me 3 years. Instead of giving me 10 years, you give me 3, you know? And that's how the feds get that high conviction rate. Now, another thing is, whenever you're in that courtroom and they say USA versus this person, USA versus that person, you automatically go in there thinking that this person is guilty because it's the USA versus them. You like, yo, there's no way. And they just got so much time on their hands, and they got lawyer after lawyer after lawyer after lawyer that comes after you. It's like you'll be fighting with them for months. So, you know, now, does Diddy have a chance at all? But based off of what I saw today, and I'm just speaking only on what I saw today, I think so. I think so. There was a lot of people in that courtroom, inside and out, that you can see they want to see a public lynching. They want to see this guy torn to shreds. But if you look at it just objectively, of the arguments that were being made in court, it just didn't seem like the government was like they have a whole lot to me. You know, you don't know what they got, but it looks like they don't even know everything that they got. They just found a couple little things. Like they said, they found some guns with the serial numbers scratched off, you know, which could be a felony, but we don't know if those were his guns or somebody else's guns. And in the state of Florida, you can have firearms as long as you're not a convicted felon. So that doesn't seem to be like a huge roadblock to me. And then they charged him with kidnapping, and I think the only person they can say he actually kidnapped was Cassie, because, you know, in that video, technically, if you grab someone and you pull them 12 feet, if you walk somebody or you drag somebody 12 feet, technically that's called kidnapping. So it's little things like that. To me, when I hear the term kidnapping, I'm thinking somebody got snatched up, put in, tied up, thrown in a trunk, or somebody, you know, you got a gun and you force somebody to go with you. To me, that's kidnapping. Kidnapping ain't, I don't know, you know, it all depends. But here's the thing. The lawyer says something really interesting. He said this to me before. He said, look, none of these people who claim to be victims, nobody went to the police at all. Nobody went to the police. Nobody went to the FBI. Nobody went to Homeland Security. Homeland Security came looking for them. All because of the lawsuit that Cassie put out. Cassie was looking to get $30 million, or she was going to write a book about him, because, you know, she left him to be with another guy, and the guy didn't really have money like that. And they're like, yo, let's try to figure out how we're going to get some money from your ex. Let's see how we could get some money from Diddy. So they had been trying to get money out of him for a long time. And then finally they said, you know what? Let's write a tell-all book about him. But let's give him the option first to buy the book from us. So they asked him, they said, look, you give us $30 million, we'll give you the right to this book won't come out. But he refused because he felt like they were trying to blackmail him, you know? So he refused to give that money up, and then when she filed the lawsuit, boom, it went all over the news everywhere, and he tried to hurry up and kill it, and that's why he ended up settling. But by that time, it kind of raised a lot of eyebrows, and Diddy already had a lot of people who, you know, they didn't like him for whatever reason. So that just added fuel to the fire. Now, that's when, once something like that, a story gets big and it gets on the news and on the TV, that's when, and it was all over the internet. You know, people have been making videos for a long time about him on the YouTube. So the feds watch that too, and that's what caused them to, you know, I'm sure they probably linked up with Cassie. They was like, let's go find this Cassandra Ventura and let's see what she has to say. And when she told that story, whatever was in the lawsuit, the feds were looking for any kind of crimes or criminal activity in there, and whatever she participated in, they gave her immunity for it. Was like, look, we don't care, we'll give you immunity. Whatever you did, we're not going to charge you, but we wanted you to testify against him. And at that point, she probably felt like she didn't have no choice. And then Everybody else, the same thing. So basically, long story short, nobody died, nobody got killed. It doesn't seem like there was a real criminal enterprise. It seems like that's what they're trying to frame it into. And now the government just has to put on their case. And they say that the trial should last about 3 weeks. They believe they have enough evidence that in 3 weeks they're going to get their point across. And that start May 5th. They're after money, Lady G, I'm telling you. Yeah, they're hiding their strategy maybe, yeah. That's that church, yup. Typical, your doctor didn't submit a deposition and you gotta wait 2 months for hearing. Yeah, man, so sometimes these lawyers do things and you're like, yo, what were you thinking, or the doctor? But then you also say sometimes, look, man, I'm not a trained professional, so maybe I don't know what's going on. But certain things you hear, you be like, yo, that didn't even make any sense. So, and these doctors, and here's another thing. What I learned from going through my own little legal things, I'm gonna take a ride up here. I wanna go into this little Trader Joe's. What I found out, you must be watching two different, what? What I found out about going through, when I went through my own little trial, is that you have to fight your own case harder than your lawyer. Yes, a lawyer, you can pay a lawyer to help you, but at the end of the day, you have to work just as hard as the lawyer, because sometimes the lawyer forget. The lawyer will forget, and the lawyer is distracted with other things. You're not the only case that he has, so you have to fight for yourself most of the time. But you're paying somebody to help guide you, you know? And, so what? Diddy has been moving reckless since the 90s. Hello. Yeah, I guess, I mean, do we say reckless? Because if he's moving reckless since the 90s, they should have caught up with him back then. But I think that he must not have done nothing. He didn't do anything that was egregious enough to pique the attention of the federal government. That didn't happen. Oh no, I take that back. They have been surveilling him since the 90s. They've been watching him since the 90s. But really in 2008 is when they felt like they really can build the case, because now they have Cassie. I think she was maybe with him since then, or maybe even before. But this investigation, this RICO investigation they got on him, they said it's been since 2008. So we'll see. It didn't sound like it was super solid to me today. Like if they were to put on a case, it would seem like things were just pulled together. They just pulled in anybody who got a negative story. And you know who had the nerve to be there? Gloria Allred was there. Gloria Allred was there. So you know it's gonna be a circus. Yeah, I'm gonna keep giving you these updates, Lady G. Probably ain't gonna have another one for a while. But is he Dame Diddy or Dame Dunny? He's Biggie, he's Puffy. Yep, that's that ether verse. So yeah, it doesn't look good, but it didn't look all the way drastic either, man. I think if anybody can beat a federal case, it would be Diddy. In this particular case, as I said before, domestic violence, that's one issue. That there's no debating about that. But if you're talking about actual being a criminal, running a criminal enterprise, kidnapping, I think that's a big reach. Gloria looking for money too. Yes, she is. That lady is pure evil. She looked like Satan too when you see her. She looked like the devil with a bunch of makeup on. So I'm gonna tell you, excuse me. Yeah, it is about money, because all of these people, their gripes is that they didn't get paid. They didn't get no money. They didn't get this. They didn't get that. And if you don't give me no money, I'm gonna tell so and so about you. And this is just how it goes. And then they found one accuser got caught lying a few days ago. She offered her boyfriend $3 million to corroborate a story about her. How you doing, sir? All right. And hold on one second. Yeah, that's it.
Cash your card.
Card. Where do I? Okay, right there. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. Have a good one. So yeah, these women, and I'm not just gonna say women because there's men out here too, but it's all about money. They all want money, and I can't blame them. I can't blame anybody for wanting money. But the only thing I'm against is lying on somebody for money. This is the thing that bothers me. If somebody really did something to you, you have the right to, go to the police. You got the right to tell somebody. You got the right to tell your story. You have the right to seek out some kind of compensation. But the lying part, the messed up thing is somebody can lie on you and say you did something to them, and it turns out to be false, and there's no kind of punishment that person gets for lying. This is the problem that I do have with the legal system, and how things are running out here. So, you see, the other day there was a claim that there was 120 victims out there, 120 people that are represented by a lawyer that said that they got assaulted or taken advantage or something like that by Diddy. 120. Think about that. To me, I'm like, is it even possible to do all of that and not get caught somewhere along the way?
No, they wasn't 18. And she said, oh no.
With the likes, I appreciate the likes. Thank you. You said she gave her, oh, Gloria already, you might be right about that. He's gone for at least 20 years plus. Don't lie. The thing is, there has to be people above him. Where they're like, yeah, there should be people who can. What I learned from being in this federal building last few weeks is really about who you know and relationships, because more important than money, relationships can be more important than money. If you know the right people, if you're cool with the judge or with the judge's family member or something like that, you got a better chance of things going your way. And prosecutors and judges, they work together hand in hand. They work in the same building. They eat in the same restaurants. They eat lunch together. They go to dinner together. They park next to each other. So, you really have things tilted against you unless you know somebody in one of the higher ups, or you got to have some dirt on the judge or on the prosecutor. Said Jay-Z should pay the judge off. Hey, that I ain't even got no bread on me right now, fam. Next time. Hey, yeah, you say he should pay the judge off. I think, a friend, if you're a friend or you're a family member and one of your friends or your family members is in trouble like that, yeah, you should try to do something. I don't condone any corruption in the justice system, but the prosecutors do it all the time. The FBI and the CIA, they'll make up some shit on you just to get a conviction and just to get people to turn against you. So you do have to try to tip the scales in your favor, and you would hope that your friends are putting up a fight for you. And I saw that in the beginning. P. Diddy didn't have much support at all, but now I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to see things switch over a little bit. I'm starting to see some people coming to his defense now. It's just it's gonna have to be some backroom deals, some backroom willing and dealing if he really wants to try to get out of this jam, at least get out for bail. Somebody in here commented that they're gonna give him 20 plus. They're trying to give him life. They're trying to give him life. So, and 20 years is a life sentence at that age. But I think they were trying to make him budge. They're trying to make him fold. So they were like, yo, we got you. 2 of these charges carry up to life. So you better play ball with us. And he said, nope, I'm not. So we're gonna see what happens. Struggle. What's up, man? Oh, Nicholas asked if I miss Thailand. Man, you know I do. You know I do, but I'm getting the most out of my time here in New York. Since I've been back, I'm getting the most out of this because I haven't been here and like this, you know, exploring every day, just seeing what's on. You know, this is a new adventure for me. Lady G, you said Diddy is smart. Trust me, well, he is. He's smart, but he also, you know, he's in a bad position. He's in a bad situation, and you know, state court, you have a lot more opportunity. You have a lot more wiggle room. But feds, hey, they don't care how smart you are, how wealthy you are. But honestly, I did see some intelligence displayed in that courtroom today, man. It looks like it's gearing up to be a big battle, and it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a big battle to see. This is gonna be bigger than the OJ case. It's gonna be one of the biggest trials ever. I just don't think it's solid. Got him on a tablet. Do you think this thing is political, possibly? Because some of the news was saying there were politicians and high-tech people, etc., on some list. Yeah, it's definitely some a political thing on here. Because think about it. When you watch the news and you watch TV, you see stuff more about Diddy than you do about the election or about what you see in Israel. There's some big issues that are going on in the world, but you keep hearing them flood this stuff with Diddy. So I think that they're using that as a form of distraction to keep people from complaining and protesting about other things that are going on in the world. But also, I think that big time liquor corporations accusing them of not treating his brand. He was in a partnership with a company called Diageo, which has been around for a long time. So they're billionaires. And he's not a billionaire, but he's calling them out, and they're like, hold on, man, like you getting in our business now. So I think a lot of that comes into play also. I think that it's possible that some of these companies are paying the media to cover the stories in certain ways. They're paying these social media sites to have a certain kind of opinion and to post certain pictures and things like that. And it's working against them in the court of public opinion, but it could flip and work for them in the actual courtroom if the judge says, hey, we think that you can't get a fair trial because of all the stuff that's been put out about you. So we'll see. Is that court appearance on YouTube yet? No, it's not, Tony. They don't put federal cases on TV. The only way to see a federal trial is that you have to actually go to the courthouse. They don't allow cameras in there. So Yeah, the only thing you're gonna get is sketches, and then you're gonna get people on the news reporting a certain way. So later on this evening, I'm gonna look at this. Look at this right here. Make no mistake. I'm sorry. I don't mean. No mistake. Trump is a sexual assaulter. He is a corrupt businessman like half the country. He provoked the January 6th Capitol riot. He is a narcissist that can't admit he is wrong about anything. Vote for Trump? No way. Never until we look at the only other choice. That's right. So this guy agrees with me that do you think that Trump is a criminal, convicted?
Sure. I mean, look, the media did this to us. They gave us the worst possible candidates to stir up the people of the American people. And that's what gets me so bad, angry about the whole thing. There's a lot I wrote on here. A lot of over Harris. But let me tell you, Lloyd Austin is a brilliant black American, a retired four-star general, is Biden's defense secretary. If he'd been president instead of Biden, I have no doubt that Ukraine would look just like America today. But you know where Ukraine. Biden makes remarks like, we're not going to send troops, economic sanctions are going to be cool. Baloney. That's outrageous that they would say something like that. And that's his dementia talking, And Harris did nothing for 4 years. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she is on drugs,
Right.
When Lloyd Austin was missing for 3 days, why did they ask him? The Secret Service, where is he?
Right.
The Secret Service went home in 5 minutes. He's in the hospital.
Does it seem like we have a choice between Satan and Lucifer that are both running for office? Satan and Lucifer, sure. So it was great listening to you, and this is gonna go live. It's going over. Keep it up, the good work.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me see what I got on me. If I got anything, I might got some change.
I'm like in the 20th century. I don't know how to use it.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Keep it up. That's surprising, man. You think that everybody in New York is a Trump supporter, but not necessarily. That guy was kind of like, man, both of them are bad choices. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. Well, this reminds me a lot of Michael Jackson cases. Media ran crazy with it, but then he was found innocent, but he was trying to get his record catalog from Sony. That's exactly what's going on. Now, they tried to take Michael Jackson down for years, and the only thing they could do was have some allegations. But again, here's the difference. That was a state case. The Michael Jackson case was a state case where he could beat that with like one lawyer, and he had a very good lawyer, Tom Mesereau. Tom Mesereau is a good guy. But it was a state case, and it was lies too on him. But now with the feds, it's just a whole lot more. But you're right, though. The tactic is the same, to try to smear the person, put on a smear campaign, and destroy them in the media. And then here's the thing: even if you win the case, you don't get your career back because your name is ruined. So it's almost like, yeah, you got your freedom. That's the most important thing, but you will never be able to really make money like that for a long time later. And Michael Jackson, it took him 15 years before he started going back on tour. Right before he passed, he was getting ready to go on tour. And, he got killed in that pursuit. He said, choices have become reality and acceptable. They'll try Barry Bonds again for drinking spoiled milk. Yeah, they would. And it's a shame Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame. There's a black UK YouTuber called Young Philly that was arrested today for 4 counts of sexual assault after a concert in Australia. Damn. I'm going to find out some more about that. Let me know some more about that. Yeah, Michael Jackson was definitely unfairly attacked. But again, this is the thing. I don't like to bring up race because I try to I get along with any and everybody of all race. I like people, But it leaves me scratching my head. People like Michael Jackson go through that. Why did it's always the top, let's say, the guys who are even Hank Aaron. You talking about baseball a minute ago. You saw Barry Bonds. Look, Hank Aaron was on his way to beating Babe Ruth's record, and they put him through hell because they didn't want him to have the record. Why? If that was Mark McGwire, they wouldn't have made a sound about it. I honestly think, like the attorney said today and before, I do think that there is a segment of America who still does not like to see, I'm not just gonna say any person of color, but if you're a certain kind of successful financially, business-wise, they don't like to see that because think about it. Some of these police officers are making $80, $90, $100,000 a year, and then they see you're making, and they see these guys making $1 million a year, $1 million a month. That shit, I'm sure they don't like seeing that. And I'm not saying everybody, but we just calling it what it is when you're dealing with America. Is just, I'll tell anybody, if you think I'm making this up, if you think I'm playing the card, the victim card and this and that, look up a guy named Jack Johnson. He was a heavyweight boxing champion in the early 1900s. There's a guy named Jack Johnson who, this whole sex trafficking charge, it came because of him. They created this charge because the first black guy that became a heavyweight champion of the world, they hated that. That was the most prized title in sports. It was the biggest title behind being the president of the United States. Being the president of the United States is the absolute biggest title, most popular title you could have. But being a heavyweight champion was the second biggest at that time. And they didn't want him to have that. So what they did, they made a law called the Mann Act. MANN Act. So don't listen to me. Don't believe me. You can just look that up. It's called the Mann Act. So this guy, Jack Johnson, they put him in prison for, I think he did like 4 years in Leavenworth because they wanted to move him out of the way. He was making too much money. He was becoming too bold. He was going around. He was dating, he was dating white women at that time. Now, mind you, he wasn't forcing these women to be with him. He wasn't forcing none of these women to be with him, but they accused him of creating some kind of spell that made these women want to be with him and be next to him. How can a beautiful white woman or beautiful non-black woman want to be with this dark gorilla creature looking thing? That was the mentality back then, and I think some of that mentality still persists today. You know, if there's anybody in here that is into the law and you know about American history, look up Dred Scott. Dred Scott, D-R-E-D, Scott, S-C-O-T-T. And it goes back to the foundation of how America treats its minorities. Maybe not all minorities, but specifically those of us which you might call African descent or, Black Americans. If you want to know why we don't have we still don't have a fair footing in the legal system, look up that Dred Scott. I'm not telling you guys to do a deep dive, but at least maybe Wikipedia or something like that, or a quick little 5-minute YouTube video. And it tells you how this guy sued to be a free man, and the courts treated him like he was an animal. They're like, you're not a human being. You have no rights. What do you mean you're trying to sue for your freedom just because you're in a free state? You still belong to this person. So just think about that. The United States Supreme Court said that he had no rights. That mentality persists till today. Tell me if I'm lying. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Said New York is blue. Yeah, Jonathan Majors is the best example. That guy will never get his career back, even after he was found not guilty. Yep. Actually, Jonathan Majors was found guilty, but we all saw the tape. He was actually running away from the woman. He was actually meant to show the 40/40 Club is back there. Past it. They're still working on it. Jonathan Majors, his situation, he was found guilty, but we all saw the video of him running away from the chick, and they still got him. You know, and then here, don't forget too, we're in that Me Too era where it's believe all accusers. It's not even about believe all victims, because you should believe all victims, but it takes an investigation to know if somebody's a victim or not. You can't just say, oh, this person said so-and-so did this to them, that they're automatically a victim. No, you got to vet that person too, because people will lie for money. Just because you won't lie for money doesn't mean that somebody else won't, you know? So keep in mind that we all don't think exactly alike. There's some things where you'll be thinking like, yo, why the hell would they do that? Or I would never do that. But there's some people who don't have the same kind of moral compass or the same values that you have. So there's a lot of people, it shocked me to know that people lie for money. That way, no, not that they'll lie for money. I'm not surprised by that. But the extent that they will go to of destroying your life. They don't care about you, your family, your mother, your kid. They don't care about none of that. As long as they can get a bag, they'll lie on you for $10,000. They'll destroy your life for $10,000. You know? So, you said, you remember the media talking this much about Epstein. They never even released any names. Nope. Get some money, show. Say Diddy force some powder. Hey, man, I'm telling you, that's the easiest way to make some money now. The easiest way to make some money now is to say that Diddy did something to you. You know? So, you know, the guy's hanging out over here today. Yeah, no, look, Epstein, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't even know who Jeffrey Epstein was until after he got convicted. You know what I mean? That's how much the media wasn't putting his story out there. They wasn't talking about Epstein the way that they talking about Diddy. So to me, like I said, it's just, there's certain, what I can say, just obvious affronts, obvious agendas that I see, and I don't want to keep saying that because maybe I'm a little bit more sensitive to it because I know what it's like to be treated unfairly based on, you know what I mean, a skin color. So I know what it feels like, so it makes me a little bit more sensitive to it, but I don't want that to be something to always point to. I always want to look at the law, look at human beings first. Before you even think about color, I just want to look at the human being. And then if I see that, you know, hold on, why is this human being treated this way and this one is being treated that way? So I try to look at the circumstances, and then if that doesn't make sense to me, then I go down the line, and then if the common denominator is like, man, the only difference is what they look like or the color, is like, man, you can't ignore it. But the Jonathan Majors thing, man, he definitely got dealt a raw deal, but I'm not surprised. Remember what I just said about that Dred Scott case. Once you look up that Dred Scott or the Jack Johnson, you'll understand the history of America is never been 100 totally fair to everyone. You know what I mean? And you going up against a court system where the majority of it is a certain kind of people, and they don't look like you, and the jury don't look nothing like you. You're in a world of trouble. Because culturally we are different, even though we live in the same country, and there's a lot of things that's just different. You know, from the way that we talk to each other, how we deal with each other. Um, you know, so it's just America still has a lot of work to do. That is my point. We have a lot of work to do, and looking at these court cases and observing these court cases, you start to get a certain kind of picture. You know, I see a lot of the defendants look a certain way, and the defendants that get jail time, as opposed to the ones who commit the same exact crime, but their jail time is they get a slap on the wrist. It's a game. But yeah, I'm say you should go to Soy Jason Finch. In America, we have this saying, innocent until found guilty. It's supposed to be like that, but it's only a saying because people don't really live by that. You're guilty until proven innocent out here. And I'll admit this too. We all could be biased in some ways because when I found out that Trump was getting charged with all of those felonies and, you know, the January 6th thing and all that, I was, you know, I'm not saying I was happy or cheering about it, but I was trying to say, man, I want to see if they're going to treat him like they treat everybody else. You know what I mean? I was kind of looking for to see if he gets any kind of repercussions like anybody else would get. And sure enough, he did get convicted. So that goes to show that there was some people who were just, you know, totally, there was some people that were against him that were willing to say, you know what, we don't care if you're the president or the former president, we're still going to convict you, right? But the man still didn't go to jail. So my thing is this, I don't need to see Trump in jail. I don't necessarily want to see Trump in jail. But if you're not going to put him in jail for what he's been convicted of, don't put somebody else in jail for something that they haven't been convicted of yet. This is what bothers me about the imbalance of fairness and equality here in the U.S. That's one thing that I have to speak up on. And it's not political, it's just about fairness in the justice system, that's all. I'm not asking for an advantage or no special treatment. I'm just asking for fairness, equality, real equality, you know? And something, let me catch up. Say for profit prisons is another one. Yep. There was a scandal that broke out about that on prisons for profit in Pennsylvania, where a judge was getting paid by a prison owner to send kids to his prison because he was getting incentivized by the state. So yeah, for profit prisons is a terrible thing. You know, vote for who you want. Never vote for our president. Vote blue. We are already involved in 2 conflicts. I want to see Orange in jail. Yeah, look. It just baffles me that the judge said we're not going to do any sentencing until after the election for Donald Trump. That just baffles me that you say, you know what, let's give this guy an opportunity to win, so that way if he wins, the first thing he's going to do is pardon himself, which anybody would do. I would do that too. You know what I mean? If I got charges, you got charges. If my friends or my family got charges, and I became president of the United States, I'm going to help them out too. And I'm going to pardon myself. So that I get that. But how is somebody who has no convictions denied bail? So the rest, you know, as of right now, I can't put that on the judge about him not getting bail. I have to say that I have to wait to see what the attorneys are going to do, because clearly the judge was willing to hear an argument for bail, or he was going to review the application, but there wasn't one. So we're just going to sit back and see what happens. But then I also spoke to one of Diddy's attorneys, and I shared something with him that although nobody wants to be in jail, nobody wants to be in prison, but I've seen cases where short stints in jail, short stints of being detained, it can help you. What do I mean? I don't mean that it helps you fight your case. Absolutely not. I don't mean that it helps you fight your case, but I just mean that if you have some kind of issues, like let's say you have an alcohol issue, if you have a drug issue, if you're addicted to certain substances and you have problems getting off, being put in jail is like forcing you to sober up. So, you know, maybe it can help him. You know. Yeah, so Donald belongs in jail. Yeah, so look, Donald Trump, I'm convinced now, you know, me being here, I'm convinced Donald Trump is not going to jail. Donald Trump, they could put Donald Trump, he could be caught red-handed for murder or something like that. He has New York in the palm of his hands. The majority of New York. Maybe can't say all, but if you come here to New York City, you know, Donald Trump got this place in the palm of his hands. You should see when he comes to town. When he comes to town, I mean, the areas that he's in, I mean, they shut it down. The whole New York City, the police, you walk by, you hear the conversations that they're having, you know that this is definitely his town. Yeah, there's no way Donald Trump doesn't win New York. Now, the thing, that guy that we just saw a few minutes ago, he was talking about that January 6th incident where the lady, the insurrection, and the lady got killed when they tried to storm the Capitol. And they didn't, out of all of those charges that he got, they didn't blame that death on him, you know? Even though it was done on his behalf. They didn't charge him with a RICO, and somebody died. But in this P. Diddy situation, they're charging him with a RICO and nobody died. At least not nobody that we heard of or we know. So, you know, it just, these little things right here, man, it leaves me scratching my head. Are we all equal under the law? And shout out to everybody who joined in. Thanks for the thumbs up. You know, and thanks for the questions in the comments, in the comment section. So yeah, for those of you who just came in here new, who didn't see everything, we were talking about that P. Diddy case. You know, just left the courthouse not too long ago. And yeah, I mean, the guy, as far as looks go, like I said, we don't know what people are doing in their cell at night. We don't know. But as far as looks go, the guy looked as in pretty good spirits as you possibly can under these circumstances. So, and I heard that before from his attorney, but to see it for myself today, I'm like, damn, You would think that this guy he definitely believes in his chances, and he believes what he's saying. You know, for months now, P. Diddy has been saying that he's not that guy that he's being accused of, even though the government has levied some serious accusations against him. But he carried himself today like with that same confidence, as if, look, you guys got me on that, but all this other stuff that you're accusing me of, this ain't real. I don't know if reality ain't set in, but the guy seems to have a strong faith, a strong belief. So I would say that counts for something. I'm gonna go this way, see if I see one of my boys out here today. But yeah, I hope anybody that's watching this, I hope that there's something that we all can learn, no matter what it is, you know. But I definitely hope that there's something we can learn about the justice system. And the great F. Lee Bailey, I don't know if any of you that know about some of these legal giants here in America, but the great F. Lee Bailey was one of the attorneys on the so-called Dream Team back in the 90s. And he said, look, when you get in trouble, you hope that you'll just be like in a military tribunal, military court. He said, then after that, maybe a civil court, and then state court. He said, but under no circumstances do you want to find yourself in federal court. At all costs, you should try to avoid federal court, especially if you're innocent. He said, because now in federal court, your innocence doesn't mean anything. Look, there we go, that's the Cybertruck. Look at this, the Cybertruck. So now in state court, as we said before, in state court things, a lot of things can depend on your representation. Your lawyers may be able to help you. If you got good luck, you can get out of that. Your innocence may mean something. But when you are the target of the feds, your innocence means nothing. So the main point is, at all costs, try to avoid any kind of federal charges, no matter how small it is. I saw they charged somebody with a bribery and stuff like this, and a federal bribery case over $22,000. Some basketball coach received $22,000 because certain schools and things like that, entities wanted him to help steer some of their basketball players, the young kids, to their program. And the feds jumped on him about that for receiving $22,000, and they actually prosecuted him. So there's nothing that's too small for the feds. If they want you, they'll get you. They put Muhammad Ali in jail. Penn, I think he may have gotten arrested, but I don't think he actually did any jail time. He wasn't in jail. I think he did have to fight, and his fight went all the way up to the Supreme Court because he died, what they call him, a draft dodger. But he was absolutely correct in not wanting to go to war, especially for a country that don't care about you, but they want to use you. They want to use you to fight in their wars, but they won't fight for you. So Muhammad Ali, look, maybe now I ain't comparing Diddy to Muhammad Ali now, so don't misquote me. But I also think that if he did beat this case, if he does beat this case, he would be in that kind of he would be revered as that kind of a figure, because who beats the feds? So people would be looking at him like they'd be looking at him like a champion who stood up to the feds when the feds gave him a deal, and he said, "No, I'm not taking it." You know, if you sell your soul, there's a price to pay. It comes with it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You sell your soul. And someone once told me that, this is my boy right here. Hold on 1 second. I may go on mute for a hot second. We go. Yeah, so anybody who goes up against the government and the state and wins, you have like kind of it puts an aura on you. It makes you bigger than ever after that. And I think that's what they're trying to avoid. But hold on, I gotta mute because yeah, I don't want to get copyrighted. So yeah, quick cash pickup. Feds on some Kool-Aid. Yeah, man. I mean, look, when the feds come and get you, your first reaction is to say, shit, I don't want to go through this. Let me work something out. Let me plead. You don't want to be in the fed. Because look, I mean, state, you got a state case, you can bail out, you got a chance to fight it. It's probably something petty unless it's a murder or, you know, something like that. But when the feds come and pick you up, it's because they've been watching you for a while. They've been watching you. They may not, everything you've done may not have been criminal, but they got pictures of you shaking so-and-so's hand. You might not have known that so-and-so was an informant or so-and-so was a drug dealer. You didn't know, but because you standing next to so-and-so in these pictures and you shaking so-and-so's hands, they're now gonna say you part of the conspiracy. You part of the organization. So a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want that. I'm not, hey, I was just at his house. So, all right, let me just plead guilty so I could avoid charges. So the feds definitely put fear in people, which we understand it. And then I don't think there's any parole. You don't get like super early release. In the feds, if they give you 10 years, you got to do like 9. You know? Whereas in state, if you get sentenced to 10 years, you might be out in 3. If you got good behavior. You know? So, it's just what it is. Yeah, quick cash. But basically, the gist of all of this is that the amount of victims that you see on TV all over social media, that is not what the feds are coming with. The feds are only dealing with that Cassie situation, and whatever she told them, that's what they built their case around. They built their case off of everything that she's been saying. So, and really, what they had to do, it seems, they took the lawsuit that she filed and they started picking that apart, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna build the case off of that. So they just need her to corroborate all that. Now, the only trouble she could run into, or they could run into, is if she made up some lies in that. You know? So, you know, that's what's going on. And I appreciate the thumbs up again. As we stroll through here, just came from the federal courthouse, and now, now we out here in Times Square. Let's see, New York, New York. So yeah, that's just my report for today. Just giving you guys an update and some insight on on what happened in federal court today. And once again, because it's a federal courthouse, even a state courthouse, anybody is allowed in. Whether or not you're going to actually get into the proceedings, that depends on how early you get there. You know, it depends on how early you get there. And that's it. So, yeah, big shout out to everybody who stopped in and commented, asked questions. I'll probably jump on here again in a little while. It probably won't be about the Diddy case for a while. I'm not a blogger like that, you know. But all of the peeps who was curious about what was going on, just letting you know, saw his family today, met his mom, and everybody seems to be at least holding up in public. You know, what people go through at home is one thing, but they all seem to be in good spirits, you know. All right, y'all, but I'm gonna jump off here for a little bit. I shall return, man. Big shout out to all of y'all. You know, appreciate y'all for tuning in and supporting. Anybody who's not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe, you know, leave a comment or something. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Shout out to all my people who's been returning all the time. Penn and Nicholas and Finch and my gosh, you know, Struggler, Tony Lady G. All of y'all, big shout out to y'all. Abby, you know, Nicholas, Rich. All right, y'all take it easy.